We need us a pick-me-up. And guess what? There's this national holiday happening here in just a handful of days that will give everybody just the opportunity to enjoy great food and get together with friends and family and more. And here at the Y'all Show with John Rawl, we're going to have a little pick-me-up right now getting us ready for the 4th of July as our buddy Matt Hermans, the barbecue barrister, is back on here to talk grilling. I'm going to ask him about grilling steaks for this holiday weekend, but also I got a little special surprise over here beside me, and it's a prop, and I'm going to bring it out and let him weigh in on how to get these bad boys cooked up this weekend. But without further ado, let's go to our big guy at the barbecue grill, Matt Hermans. Hello, and happy 4th of July week to you, sir.
Hey, John. Happy 4th to you as well.
Well, thank you very much. I know this has to go down as one of the biggest days on your calendar, 4th of July weekend, not just because of a supposed day back in 1776, but getting together and having a little Q.
Yeah, it really is. I would say I was going to think there are a few kind of national get out and grill or fire up the pit type days. This has got to be, if not the number one. Well, I would say it's probably the number one day for people just think about getting fired up, getting the grill fired up, and putting some meat on there and putting some meat to fire. So, yeah, you got other days. Memorial Day, that's a big one, but 4th of July it's the grilling day. It is the grilling day for sure.
Yeah, well, we're going to be on to talk about it now. When we had you on the other day, we had you discuss. We talked about steaks, and you discussed how you had your favorite being ribeye. And if you don't mind, I'd like to kind of start things out today talking about taking it to the next position, and that would be how do we get these steaks when you have your choice of meat picked out? What do you do to get them ready before they go on the grill?
Very, very simple. You want to season them well. And the rule for seasoning steaks, and here's the thing. Some people marinate steaks. Some people will oil up a steak and then season it. My personal method is just meat, seasoning, and hot fire. That's it. Now, the seasoning is very, very important. Obviously, you don't want an underseasoned steak. Even a perfectly cooked steak, it doesn't have the right amount of seasoning, whether that's salt and pepper. That's kind of what I gravitate to, is just straight salt and pepper. But there's all kinds of different steak seasonings that have black pepper and garlic, and there's all kinds of different things. Chili powder. We all kind of know. We've seen different steak seasonings at the local grocery store. But you want that right amount of seasoning on the steak. You want that crust, but you want the right amount of salt, because even a perfectly cooked steak without the right amount of salt is bland. Salt and beef, they're friends. They're real good friends. And you want them to come together, and you want them to be together. So seasoning is important. You can't go wrong with just seasoning up your steak and putting it directly on a very, very hot fire. The thing to remember about seasoning your steak, whether you like straight salt, whether you like salt and pepper, whether you like a store-bought steak rub, or whatever you tend to like, stay away from sugar. Sugar and beef on a steak, you don't want that. You don't want a sweet rub. You don't want a barbecue type rub on a steak.
Why?
It just doesn't. You don't want a sweet steak. It just doesn't work very well. Now, there are different types of meat that can be sweet, different types of marinades, like a teriyaki maybe. That's kind of a Japanese style flavor profile, sweet and spicy. If you're going for a good old-fashioned 4th of July steak, you just don't want sugar. Sugar goes great with pork. It's very questionable on beef. So when you think about a nice steak, some of the best steaks you've ever had, it's a salty, kind of an herbal, kind of a deep, savory type flavor. So nothing, if you have a rub that you like on ribs or on pork butt that has a lot of sugar, brown sugar in it, keep that away from the steak. You want it to be primarily salt and other flavors. So the thicker the steak, the more the seasoning. The thinner the steak, the less the seasoning. So you got to adjust it. If you've got a nice fat ribeye, 3/4 of an inch through, you want to put a nice amount of rub and kind of pat it down in there to make sure you get the right salt level. Because that's a lot of meat between top and bottom where you've got the seasoning, and you want that flavor
Barrister,
to go
I got
through.
my pen out. I need you to repeat that so I can write this down. Say that again about your little motto, thicker.
Absolutely. The thicker the steak, the more seasoning you want to put on there, particularly a fat steak. A fat steak has a lot more meat between the top with the rub and the bottom with the rub. So the fatter your steak, the more the seasoning. You really need to layer it on there. And the best thing to do is to kind of pat it in, kind of like you're seasoning a hamburger where you kind of smash it into the meat, put the rub on there, smash it into your steak just a little bit to get it down into that meat. But
Okay. I did
think
not
thin
learn that
steak.
in my primary learning. I don't know how I missed that on that advice there.
I know, man. They should have a 13th grade for this type of stuff, honestly.
And then what was the
But
other
yeah,
little
thin
thing?
steak. What's that?
There was something else, another little catchphrase I heard you say.
Yeah, the thinner the steak,
Thinner.
the thin steak, thin seasoning. Thick steak, thick seasoning. That'll get you through.
Okay.
That'll get you through.
I'm ready for my SAT now.
All right, nail it.
Okay. Or ACT, depending on which side of the Mississippi River you're on.
That's true. I don't know which they do anymore. Yeah, I don't know.
I think so. A lot of places, they're telling you now you don't even have to have that to get into college because of the pandemic. Speaking of the pandemic, while we're talking about juicy steaks and more, what's the latest in terms of availability of steak, and has the price gone way up in the last 3 months?
I don't think the prices have gone up necessarily, but your availability is a little bit different. I know that we have never had a meat shortage where I live, but the meat selection has been up and down. Put it that way. So, for instance, there have been times where I want a ribeye, there's no ribeye, or there's maybe a sirloin, or if I want a strip, there's no strip. There's never been out of meat, but the prices have remained about the same. Now, I can tell you that a lot of the shopping, a lot of the meat that I like to buy, I get from meat markets, which we've kind of talked about before, which kind of source their meat from smaller local farms. And from what I can understand, those places have not been as hit by the pandemic. A lot of these smaller farms just have a few employees, maybe the owner of the farm, maybe people in the family that work it. And one of these bigger agricultural operations will have hundreds of employees that have been affected by the pandemic. So have had no issue whatsoever with my local meat market. Have had a little bit of issue with Kroger, but I haven't noticed a whole lot of pricing differences like gouging. I haven't seen any of that personally in my area.
All right. Well, always good to know that you can get your meat ready for the 4th of July. We're talking to our barbecue barrister, Matt Heermans, right now, and this is our conversation that we have at Yall.com and the Yall Show. And so we know now, based on what you told us about the seasoning, if you didn't catch our last time that we were together, we walked through all the different cuts of steak options, and he declared here his love of the ribeye. I'm more of I won't call it a New York strip because I don't like saying that I like anything from New York, but I do like me a little strip from time to time. But whatever your choice is, we've got all the great insight on the best cuts of steak for you in our previous conversation. So rewind, if you will, or go find us at Yall.com on YouTube or wherever you can see that past conversation talking about steak. We have another meat choice specific to the 4th of July that we're going to talk to you about, Barrister. Before we do that, I want you to go ahead and give your final closing argument on steak specifically for the 4th of July. Anything else you need to just tell us before we come down with the gavel on this one?
All right, I'm pretending like I got a jury out there. No, I'm just kidding. I would say good meat. You don't want to cover up the taste of good meat when it comes to steak. When it comes to steak, I am I don't want to say simpleton. That comes off wrong. I'm a purist. So I like salt and I like a little bit of black pepper. I like high heat. I like charcoal. I think that gives you the best flavor. I'm a medium rare guy. I think anything past medium rare starts to get into the realm of, people have their different preferences, put it that way. I'm a medium rare guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think simple seasoning, salt, pepper, I think hot charcoal, it's the way to go. That's the way I like it.
All right. And that's your closing argument, eh?
Absolutely. I'm going to give it to the jury.
All right.
Go deliberate this next weekend. How about that?
I like it. All right. Now, for the next meat choice, barbecue barrister, I got a prop here. And that prop would be right here, hot dogs. These are Nathan's beef hot dogs. And a lot of people like to have burgers and hot dogs on the 4th of July, maybe a steak and a hot dog. All the great choices you have when it comes to the 4th of July. And unfortunately, Nathan's, I don't know why, I had to pay for this. We don't like to pay for things here in our Barbecue Barrister Spotlight, so let's make sure in the future we're well taken care of with our hot dogs. But I did say that those are beef hot dogs, and I want to get, is there some kind of difference when you got them out on the grill, the difference between maybe a beef hot dog or maybe the chicken slash pork or whatever else kind of meat they come up with for hot dogs?
Yeah, it's just the filling. So when you think of I'm gonna try to do the hot dog. I'm not sure I could pull that one off, but you know, it's funny that you have the Nathans because that's don't they do that competition in New York?
They do. York? And I can't remember. Is that a 4th of July or Memorial Day? It might be 4th of July. I don't know. I think
it might be the 4th. I think we might have that coming up. So
I can't imagine they're having it with everything going on with this virus. But in honor of Nathan's. Yeah,
that's true.
Joey or whatever, Joey, whatever his name is, that loves to down those things. He'll just have to put off his title.
What is it? I think it's Joey Chestnut, right?
And I think he's from the South.
Anyway. Yeah. That dude's dominant. He's certainly the king. But yeah, so most hot dogs, if you think of a hot dog, you've had as a kid or growing up, or you go to the ballpark, I would bet that 9 times out of 10 it's a pork hot dog, and most hot dogs are made out of pork or mixed pork and beef or something like that. Most hot dogs, if it just says hot dog or Frank or whatever, Frankfurter, it's going to be pork based. So a beef hot dog is different. I think some of that comes from some people just rather eat beef than pork. They have they don't like the pig as much, and I think some people just can't eat. They have a religious issue that they can't eat pork. So beef hot dogs are not uncommon for sure. You can find them at any grocery store, but I think most hot dogs are pork. The difference is, as far as the cook, it really doesn't have anything. And there are chicken hot dogs and there are turkey hot dogs. Now those are very different. Those are kind of the healthy choice. Beef hot dog is not a healthy choice. It's just different than the pork. But,
I was told beef's a little bit definitely healthier than the pork hot dog based on the calories. Yeah. I think your turkey dog is the best one, but the beef's not too far away from that one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's breaking news. I've not ever considered that to be a healthy option, but if it is, then there you go. You might consider that as well. If
140 calories for a serving with
for beef.
For beef hot dog, 13 grams of fat, and as far as carbs, 1 gram of carbs.
Yeah, it should be close to 0, right?
Yeah, it's 0. It says 0 on the package, but I'm just trying to be very honest. Sugars, 0 on Nathan's beef hot dogs, which, by the way, you mentioned how they're hard to find. I got this bad boy at Dollar General, the DG.
I love those. I love Nathan's hot dog. I'm not a big hot dog guy, but I do like the Nathan's. I'm not shilling for them. I get no money from Nathan's, and I've never been to Coney Island, but I actually do like those dogs pretty well. So I would say a beef and a pork hot dog are going to eat pretty similarly. You're going to know if you're eating a turkey dog. You will know, and you will certainly know if you're eating a chicken dog. So those are very different.
All right, dog.
Beef and pork are going to cook. What's that?
I said, all right, dog.
It's right, dog. The pork's a little bit fattier, but it really has to do with the casing, and the different brands have different casing. So the cook is going to be about the same. If you like them crispy, you're going to be able to get them crispy. If you like them, maybe like boiled style or whatever, it's going to be about the same. It's all about the casing. So the cook difference is going to be negligible. Turkey dog will burn up really quickly. It's very lean. Chicken dog will burn up very lean as well. But beef or pork, you're going to be fine.
Our number, 803-816-1170. If you have a question or comment about hot dogs, steaks, or more with our barbecue barrister, you can call or text that number 24/7, 803-816-1170. All right, we've had you weigh in on the quality of the different meats when it comes to hot dogs. But what about the way you regardless of the style of hot dog it is, what do you do to make it oh so special when you put it out there on the grill?
Well, I hate to even admit this on the grilling show, but I don't do hot dogs very often. I probably do them on 4th of July. That's kind of a thing to do. But I personally, I like to cook, and I have a gas grill. I have a charcoal grill. I like to cook most things over charcoal, and hot dogs are no exception. I tend to like, you got 2 schools, right? You got the soft hot dog, and I think some people do like them boiled. especially like a Coney Island. I think like a Detroit style Coney Island is a boiled hot dog, and not an expert on that, but I tend to like a hot dog that has a crisp outer layer. You know, I don't want to say burned up. Some people would probably call it burned up, but I like a nice crisp outer layer with the little bubbles where I know it's kind of got this crispy skin that pops, kind of gives you the pop in the mouth. So that's what I like to do. I like to make sure it's nice, and they're all done. That's the thing about hot dogs. They're already cooked. I mean, you can eat them raw. I mean, I think I did when I was a kid, put them out of the package cold. You can do that. They're already cooked. They're pasteurized and all that good stuff. So it's not a matter of being done or cooked. It's just a matter of whether you like the outside charred or not. And I tend to be a charred guy, so that's what makes it special to me, is having that charred outer exterior.
Are you okay with hot dogs that are cooked in a microwave?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I cannot vouch for that. I'm not going to say that I haven't done it in the past. You know, maybe in lean years, maybe in college years. But that just explodes your hot dog. Either you have it under, either it's under and it's just kind of floppy and nasty, or it just blows up all over your microwave. I'm just going to go ahead and admit that I know that because I have experience with that.
Okay. But you like the little char on there, and then when you serve up that hot dog, anything special besides ketchup and mustard? Anything else you put on your dog?
Blow your mind, man. I'm going to blow your mind. I am a mayo guy with the hot dog.
Really?
Love
Only mayonnaise?
I like, if I had to choose one, it would be mayo. If I can mix, I'll do mayo and a little bit of mustard. But mayo and hot dog, underrated. I tend to be somebody who really likes mayo on things. But if you've never tried it and you like mayo, give it a go. So yeah, I'm gonna shill for mayo hot dogs here.
Mayo, and then in a perfect world, mayo and mustard. You'll go without the ketchup.
Yeah. A little bit of mustard, more mayo. I think the mustard will overpower everything, but I love that creamy mayo flavor with the hot dog char. Great combo. You know, it's not maybe not for everybody, but give it a go. Give it a try and see what you think.
And then what's your opinion on slaw or relish on a hot dog?
Yeah, I am actually I'm full disclosure, not a hot dog expert, but I do love a Chicago style dog. And I am not from Chicago. I've never even been to
Are you sure you're not from Chicago?
Yeah, not from Chicago. But and someone would probably tell me that the Chicago dogs that I have eaten are poor representations of a real Chicago dog, and I would not argue with them. But I do like it. I like the peppers. I like that bright green relish, the celery salt, the tomato. I really am a big fan. That is my favorite hot dog. Actually, is a Chicago dog. So
I am
of course
right
I'd
there
probably
with
add
you.
mayo to it if it was me. And I'm sure somebody from Chicago is out there just like punching the air, thinking of putting mayo on a Chicago dog. But I'd probably do that.
And it's been one of the great disappointments of the last 5 years when Sonic took off the Chicago dog off their menu. Can you believe they did that?
I actually like that one. See,
I did.
I mean, it shows my inexperience. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was great.
You know, I had a few of them.
I mean,
you know, from
where
time
else?
to time. I'm not gonna...
Normally, where else in the South can you go and readily find Chicago hot dogs? Well, Sonic was a good option there, and now they ruined that one, and I don't even know where you can get one now.
Oof, I don't know either. You probably can't. Or somebody's probably out there thinking.
I don't think Mickey D's is in the hot dog business quite yet. So, and
no, you don't know what's in the meat, but it's probably not a hot dog.
But Mickey D's is in the barbecue business in the fall, at least.
You talking about the McRib?
Yeah, I love that McRib.
Yeah. That's as a barbecue guy, I just can't even.
I
can't do it.
We're just having fun with our barbecue barristers. We wrap up. So we've kind of walked through everything with steak now, and now we've covered. Again, let me pull out my prop. Nathan's. They have great beef hot dogs. They got other. In fact, I got the turkey hot dog from Nathan's stored away in my refrigerator too. So I'm all about some Nathan's.
Have you tried it?
Yeah.
Have you tried it?
Yeah. It's still in my head. I'm thinking I'm eating a turkey, and so until that is gone, it's not quite the same.
Different.
However, the good news about a hot dog, no matter what the meat is, you can cover that bad boy, in your case, with mayonnaise and mustard, or in my case, maybe find some chili or ketchup or mustard or any of the slaws that go on hot dogs. And the meat is almost secondary at that point, and it's all makes for a great taste. And hot dogs,
Excellent.
they're part of the fun of 4th of July, and that's why we wanted you, Barbecue Barrister, to tell us a little bit about your insight on grilling dogs and, of course, your talk about steak. And don't forget, go back, if you're watching us now, go to our YouTube channel, and you can readily find our past conversation with the Barbecue Barrister about all the cuts of steak out there before you head to the grocery store here this weekend. You want to make sure you do your research, and the Barrister has done all that research for you. Barrister, hope you have a great 4th of July weekend. We look forward to talking to you again sometime in the month of July when we are all about whatever else barbecue-wise is going on. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Happy 4th of July, everybody out there. Enjoy it. And, put some mayo on your hot dog and then curse me if you don't like it.
We'll do it. But I don't think we're going to curse you. We like you. We like you a whole lot. More of the Y'all Show will be on with us right after this. Don't go anywhere.